This one is Super Mario Galaxy, the Platinum version, which was hard to get. You basically had to scramble to get it when it came out because everyone wanted a copy, and there were only a few places that are holding it, namely Play Asia. It has all tracks, including all tunes, besides the orchestral rearrangements. My favorite on this one probably has to be the redone version of Bowser's Airship theme, because it just sounds so badass in this one. Then after that, we start moving on to Ace Combat. I got into Ace Combat due to someone posting up links on YouTube via game FAQs, game facts. And when I heard Unsung War, it immediately got my attention. But let's start with Ace Combat 4. Ace Combat 4 is the one that has the famous Agnus Dei Megalith version, and it also has Blockade, which is one of my favorite pieces on this. Then we move on to Ace Combat 5, which is undoubtedly my favorite. The Unsung War, this one is the one that has the title song, which is just phenomenal when you listen to it. My other favorites on here are Super Circus, which is extremely good if you like the hard guitar, and it also gives you a very Top Gun feeling for some of the songs. But I just find this one to be really, really nice once you know what you're calling out. First Flight is also good, and Naval Blockade has to be one of the best action pieces that I've heard in a long, long time. Then you move on to Ace Combat Zero. Ace Combat Zero is different from the others. What happens is that he reprises the main theme of Ace Combat, the Unsung War, into Zero, which is, bar none, the best track in this entire CD. He does have some other gems in here, though, and it has Glacial Skies, which is one of my favorites, and then it also goes into Excalibur, which is also one of my favorites, which I have in my car, which I like to turn on loud and just have the speakers pulse out. It's just a very, very loud, phenomenal, blood-pounding track. Then we move on to Metal Gear Solid. I have Metal Gear Solid 2 soundtrack. This one's just the one with primarily the FMV music. I need to get the one with Raiden because that one has Yell Dead Cell, which I really want to have. But it's a good start to the Metal Gear Solid collection. Then I picked up Snake Eater after that, because this one to me had a lot of really good pieces as well. I like Snake Eater, the title, but I also found that the Shagohod and the ones in which he's going up against the main bosses extremely, extremely good. To stop umming all over the place, I would just say that Virtuous Mission is a favorite one of mine. If you've never played the game before, or never seen someone play the game before, let's just say that it takes a halo jump to an extremely awesome level with this song. Another one that is a favorite of mine would be Sidecar Escape from the Fortress and Sidecar on the Rail Bridge. That one is also very good. And it has to do with Big Boss, so the Star of Big Boss. So it really cannot be compared. Then we move on to the limited edition special version of Metal Gear Solid 4. Metal Gear Solid 4, I found out, actually, is not a complete CD. There's a lot of missing songs on this one. But for what it does have, it's extremely awesome. Gecko is a favorite of mine. I also like Mobs Alive, just because when it finally gets up to the climax of the voices, it is extremely wow. You could put this into a movie for some potentially awesome scene, and it would fit right in there like a glove. And just in general, Metal Gear Solid 4, I think, closes off everything really, really, really well, especially with the rendition of the Metal Gear Solid theme, which unfortunately lost its Russian style, but overall than that, Williams did a really, really good job with it. Then we go on to Lost Odyssey. Now this one was interesting because Ieyamatsu had failed to get my attention for the longest time, mostly because he wasn't on for too long after he stopped doing much for Final Fantasy. But when Lost Odyssey came out and I started listening to the music, I actually think this is one of his better contributions as of late. You get pieces like Dark Saint, you get pieces like Battle Condition, and then you have a really awesome main theme, which if you listen to it closely enough, will remind you of Terra's theme from Final Fantasy VI. Lost Odyssey, the game, kind of runs along the same themes of Final Fantasy VI too. There is magic involved, so maybe that sound is very much intentional. There are some pretty saccharine vocals in this too, so it's not a favorite of mine, I have to say, in terms of the vocal songs. But if you just stick with everything else that he's really strong at, it's a phenomenal set of music that he did. And then we move on to Halo. I have Halo and Halo 3. Halo 3 I picked up before I went and picked up the complete Halo edition, because I've been looking around for American video game music as well, and Halo is the only one that I can find out in stores. I still cannot find Red Alert, and I don't know how to get that one because Hellmarch is just awesome. But with Halo, one of my favorites on here is the Pride and Reconciliation suite. That one's really, really good. It puts me into a mood, and I've used the song before whenever I'm drawing soldiers or brothers in arms. So I find that this Halo one is quite good, especially if you focus on the first CD. I like the third one too, but the first one has some really, really good stuff that they don't quite match up to later on. Sakuraba, someone that I don't quite follow that much, but I find his Valkyrie profile works to be extremely exceptional out of everything else that he does. Funny enough, Valkyrie profile Samaria, I find, is even better than the one that he did for Valkyrie profile Lenneth. Mainly because I think that his battle pieces have gotten better. One of my favorite pieces inside of this would have to be the final boss battle track, and it is called Unrestrained Struggle. You have to listen to this one to believe it. He actually gets the vocals and the beat dead on, and if you like prog rock, he's a good way to start with video game music. Then you have Shadow of the Colossus, or Wanda and the Colossus in Japanese. This one was one of my favorites. I got introduced into Ko Otani with Habane Reme first. So when I found out he was the composer for this one, it was a nice, pleasant surprise. The music grabbed me when I first played the game, which is what convinced me to pick it up. My favorites in this one is Counterattack, The Opened Way, and the credits song actually makes me very sad, and if you play the game, you will know why. Then we move into Dramatica, which is Yoko Shimomura's rearrangement of most of the good songs that she has done. Front Mission songs in here are my favorite, because those are the ones that I'm really familiar with. Not too fond of her Kingdom Hearts songs, but I find that her Front Mission songs and her Live Alive and Legend of Mana ones are really good. And then, speaking of Front Mission, now we move on to Front Mission 5. Front Mission 5 is by Hidenori Iwasaki. He's very new, actually, in my opinion, to Square Enix as a composer, but he really gave Front Mission 5 a superior soundtrack and an extremely good way of representing it. My favorite pieces in this one has to be Deliverance, which is the final mission theme, Quicksilver, Defenders, which if you listen to that one will really make you patriotic. You feel like you want to stand up for your soldiers no matter what's going on. And in general, I just find Front Mission 5 CD to be really, really good if you like military-based music. It's phenomenal in that regard.